All right, what's up, guys, and welcome back to the Dunk Talk Podcast, episode 64. It's been a long time since we've been on Zoom doing one of these, but me and Hunter are excited to be back. So, if you guys don't know, my name is Dylan Haugen. I am the host. I'm a 5'11", 17-year-old dunker from Minnesota, and today I'm here with my co-host Hunter, kind of co-host Jordan, who has been on a previous episode, so make sure you go check that out. It'll be linked in the description. And then his brother, Ethan, who is just getting started out in the dunk community, you could say, but already has 48-inch vertical, all this crazy stuff. So we're going to be hopping into his journey today. But let's start out with some introductions. So let's do it, Hunter.
Yeah, guys, it's been a while, but we're finally back. Been busy, been hurt. But yeah, guys, I'm Hunter Castona from Wisconsin. I'm 6'1" and 22 years old. And then we have arguably, if not the highest jumping brothers in the world in this call right now, which is Jordan and Ethan. So Jordan, if you want to get us started.
Yeah. So I'm Jordan. I'm 24 years old. I'm a dunker slash strength conditioning coach. Been dunking for as long as I can remember. Been trying to jump and touch ceilings the same way we all started. And yeah, now I'm training people full time, including my younger brother, who, Ethan, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Ethan Pimstone. Similar to Hunter, I'm 6'1", 22 years old. And yeah, I'm based out of Oak Park, California. And I'm an up-and-coming dunker.
Yes, sir. So Hunter and I actually met Ethan earlier this year in June at the Dunk Camp 2025. And like everyone, we were blown away. Tested a 47.5-inch vertical that day and got his first Eastbay, which doesn't really make any sense that
Yeah.
first Eastbay with basically a 48, but just every dunk was crazy. Jordan, you were injured, right? That was what prevented you from
Yeah.
going?
Yeah, I had a pretty bad flare-up of back spasms like 4 days out. So I missed this past year.
That's super unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, again, so that was our introduction to Ethan. And from that day, we said we were going to get him on the podcast, but again, we've been all over the place, but we're finally here making it happen. So we thought it'd be really cool to get Jordan on here as well, since obviously he's his brother and he's been helping train him. Yeah, we'll just start it off with Ethan. What were some of the sports you played as a kid? Just talking way back, whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah. I was one of the kids, like a lot of kids, where I played every single sport growing up. Lacrosse, soccer, baseball, flag football. And my main was always basketball. Like when I was super young, 10 years old, I was super good. Like basketball was my sport. Like I remember I was in those rec leagues near my house and I would be dropping like 30 points a game. And I was always one of the athletic kids. But what happened is as I was growing up, when kids hit puberty, I was one of those super late bloomers. So I was super good as a kid at all sports, basketball. But then once I got into sort of early high school, late middle school is when I started really falling behind. And that's where my sports journey ended. I stopped playing freshman year of high school basketball. That's all I played.
Really, yeah, that's great. That's funny. My brother's actually very similar. He's still great at basketball, but he's been super behind me on the actual growth curve and athletic curve. So that's good to know. Maybe he'll randomly
Shoot
go
up.
past me in vertical one of these years.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in high school, you're stopping playing basketball. What kind of took over for you? Was it lifting or what were you doing?
Yeah. So as a freshman in high school, I was only 5'4". I was skinny. I was weak. I was still prepubescent. No part of me had hit puberty yet. So I was one of those kids I wasn't physical enough for high school basketball. I would just sit in the corner, shoot some threes, but I really didn't get any play time. And that was really it for me. And it makes sense from the coach's perspective because I was super undersized, not really athletic, just because I didn't hit puberty. So yeah, after freshman year of high school, I honestly wasn't lifting yet. Let's say I was 15. I was just gaming, man. When I was those Fortnite days, I was sitting there 10 hours a day in my room gaming, whether it be 2K, Fortnite. Got pretty out of shape. I was definitely the fluffiest I've ever been and the least active I've ever been. And it wasn't really until I was probably around 17 that I got super into the weight room, probably because of Jordan. Jordan was the kids that started lifting from a super young age. So I think that sort of got me inspired to get in the weight room. And yeah, from 17 on to 22, my focus was really bodybuilding. Like from 17 to 18, maybe 17 to 19, I got pretty big. I put on a lot of muscle. I was really into dieting and eating a surplus and getting really huge. And I put on a lot of weight. So yeah, until 21, probably from 17 to 21, my focus in the weight room it was just pretty much just bodybuilding, was putting on as much muscle as possible.
Yeah, super cool. So let's backtrack a bit and talk about your introduction to dunking. So whether that be seeing NBA guys, watching Dunkademics, Team Flight Brothers, any of
Yeah.
that stuff, what was your introduction to the world of dunking? And then also, side point as well, when did you get your first dunk and what was that kind of memory like?
Yeah, so I wasn't really in tune with the social media like Team Flight Brothers, Dunkademics. Of course, growing up playing basketball, every kid's dream is to dunk. So I'm as a freshman in high school, I remember my goal was nowhere near dunking, it was to try to touch the bottom of the backboard. I remember that was my goal. I'd be in practice trying to scrape the bottom of the backboard because I was 5'4". But obviously I always want to dunk. That's every basketball player's dream. So I think I was at 17. At 17 years old is when I got my first like rim grazer dunk. I think I got it on video. But even before that, me and Jordan both grew up jumping all the time. Like it was always, it wasn't really it was a passion of mine. Me and my friends would have competitions seeing who could touch the highest on the wall. There's still stickers up to this day of 1 foot jump and 1 foot or 2 foot jump, and there's stickers on the top of the wall on the staircase of how high I could touch. So me and my friends were really into that. Jordan, I have vivid memories of me and Jordan like jumping over pillows, diving over pillows, seeing how far and how high we could jump. Jumping was always there, but I just really didn't think I was ever gonna be able to dunk. As a freshman in high school, seeing kids dunk and me trying to scrape the bottom of the backboard, I didn't think it was a possibility. But yeah, I think at 17, I was probably around 6 foot, and that's when I got my first rim grazer.
Yeah, and just for reference, Jordan, what was kind of your growth curve when it comes to first dunk and stuff like that compared to his?
Yeah, I think I was also 17 when I got my first dunk. And then I stopped. I couldn't dunk again for, I think, close to a year. So I hit one rim grazer, probably on a short hoop outdoors. And then it took almost a year before I started dunking again consistently at the age of roughly 18. And I was probably same height that I am now, so 5'10" at the time.
Yeah, nice. Ethan, I know you mentioned that you started getting into bodybuilding around that same time, 17. What was your training like at that point in time, and how is it different to what you do right now?
Yeah, so I was nonstop on the internet on YouTube, following all the guys, trying to see how I could put on the most muscle the fastest. So a big difference first off was diet. I was in a strip, I was stuffing my face till I felt sick to try to put on as much mass as possible. Obviously, as a dunker, you don't want all that mass. So I think at the most I got to is like 200, maybe a little more in the morning. So I was pretty heavy and a way higher body fat. But my training was it was typical bodybuilder. It was lighter weight, slower reps, 8 to 12, 8 to 15 rep range. I was doing some of the same type of lifts like squats and stuff, but it was way lighter, higher reps.
Interesting. Yeah, yeah. So when did you kind of make the transition then to more of the type of training that you're doing right now?
Yeah. So how I got into dunking is I was still in that bodybuilder phase, but there was a little phase I had where I would go to LA Fitness. I would say probably, I don't know, Jordan, you correct me if I'm, because I don't really remember. I think probably around 19, 20, I had a little phase where I would play to LA Fitness at just commercial gym with my friends, like a lot. And I would come home and I'd be telling Jordan, that was after puberty, after I really developed physically. And I'd come home telling Jordan, bro, like I just postered this guy. I just got this craziest dunk. My friend just threw me the craziest lob. And Jordan hadn't really seen it. It's not on video or anything. He wasn't there. I would just come home telling him. And he's like, bro, you got to get into this whole dunking thing. I think you'd be a beast. I think you'd be a beast. So one day we went to this local training facility that Jordan used to work at. And he's like, let's test your vert. So this was off no training. All I was doing is I was playing basketball occasionally. And Jordan, I don't know if you remember what year. I think it might have been 2023, but this was just off just playing basketball, bodybuilding training. I think I tested a 44.5-inch vert in 2023. And then, so that of course made Jordan even more. He's a bro, get into this dunking. To get into this, Jordan was already in the scene. He's like, you have to do this. I'm like, I remember I would tell him, we'd always have this argument. I'm like, I don't care how high I jump. What's that going to do for me in life? I'm like, all I want to do, I want my legs to be big. I don't care how high I'm going to jump. That's all I cared about. And we had this conversation probably a year plus, maybe 2 years. Jordan, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I remember.
Yeah, he used to come home from LA Fitness and say he was the LA Fitness Zion. Like he was hanging on the rim and doing mean things to people. And in terms of his reluctancy to train, it was tough because one part that he's leaving out too is his knees were absolutely cooked. Like he would play really hard for hours and then he would have to take a week off because he couldn't even walk up the stairs anymore. And so I was just begging him, like, please let me fix your knee and let me train you because I don't think you realize how good you can be. And it sounds funny now, but this was a conversation even like 9 months ago. We were still having this conversation.
Yeah.
He finally gave in about 8 months ago, and he hasn't looked back since.
Yeah, to go along with that, when did you start to see him doing the dunks that he was saying that he was doing at LA Fitness with his friends? Like, when did that start? And like, when did you like convince him to start having dedicated dunk sessions and whatnot?
Yeah, like he said, it was around 2023 2023, maybe late 2022. It was after he had grown and he was over 6 feet at that point and less of a kid, more of a man. And I would hear the stories. I didn't see anything. It's not like he brought a tripod or had people recording. So I was just taking his word for it. It was really the day that he tested that 44.5 inch vertical off of zero dedicated vertical jump training, no dedicated dunk sessions, that I really started pressing him like, you need to do this. He actually wanted to be a sprinter. He wanted to try to sprint in college. He wanted a scholarship. And if he trained for that, there's a chance he would have been able to do that as well. He's really fast, which tends to go hand in hand with jumping oftentimes. But so when we started training 8 months ago, he was actually training as a sprinter at first because his goal was to walk on at a Division I school. And so it was a weird process of curing his jumper's knee while he trained for sprinting initially. And eventually he got off of that and really started putting everything into dunking. And that's when he started having those dedicated dunk sessions. And it's been up from there.
I could dive deeper into that too. So when you started training me, yeah, like he was saying, I was pushing through the most immense pain at LA Fitness. I remember there would be games where I'd have to tell people like I got to get off the court, like I got to stop. Like it felt like my knee was gonna literally explode at any second. Like a lot of hoopers do, they just push through it. They don't even think there's a route to recovery. I just kept playing on it, kept playing on it. It was super bad. And then yeah, once the reason I fully switched to dunking when Jordan started training me is it was honestly dunk camp that switched everything for me. Because me and Jordan were going into there. He's been training me probably what, Jordan, for a few months by then, a couple months, but it was mostly just rehab, just getting my knees in check. It wasn't like proper training because my knees were so flared up. It took a long time to get them back in check. And it wasn't really until then when I was going in expecting I will be happy with a 45-inch vert. Like I tested a 44.5. That was the last time I tested. We hadn't been training that long. I was like, I'd be super happy with a 45-inch vert. And then I tested that 47.5, and that sort of just opened my eyes. And I'm like, okay, hold on. Like I really need to hone in on this and lock in on this. And I think this could be something serious.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know I asked Jordan this question when we filmed with you, but both of you, did you guys lower him at all when you were younger?
I did, not frequently, but I have videos going back to when I was a young kid on a low rim. I was more obsessed with seeing how high I could touch different ceilings and whatnot rather than hitting dunks on low rims. But I definitely did low rim as a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, I was into the jumping. Like I said, I would try to jump over pillows. I'd try to touch, but Jordan was like a sort of different level of obsessed to, yeah, where he has videos of him trying trick dunks and stuff. As you can see by me hitting my first Eastbay while touching over 12 feet, that was not my thing. I was not low rimming. I never really did trick dunks. Even at LA Fitness, it's like I would talk about, I would get these posters, but I would dunk like a big man. Like it's not like I would just put two hands down. It's like I didn't do anything special. I couldn't really windmill. I wouldn't even think about 360 or Eastbay or any of that.
I might be willing to bet that Ethan has the highest max touch before getting their first East Bay in the history of humanity.
There's a very solid chance, yeah. Besides maybe some 7-footer or something like
Yeah.
that. Who knows? Yeah, that's crazy. So obviously you went to dunk camp this year, Ethan. What was kind of the conversation between you guys to get you to go there? What was kind of your first impression of the camp?
Yeah, so I knew I was going there like a few months prior when you started training me. That was the whole focus for like we're gonna get you right for dunk camp. I had no clue what to expect. Jordan went by himself last time. He had told me some stuff about it, but I really didn't. I did not know what to expect going into that. But it was a super like a way better experience than I could even imagine. Like the dunk community, I didn't realize there was a community that could be like so close and so tight knit. It was super. It was just I had a super good experience. It was super fun, and I'm excited to go back.
Had you talked to many guys before that?
Me? I talked to no one. Like I wasn't posting on social media before then, so I didn't even have an Instagram or anything for dunking. So I had absolutely no clue. Like I knew no one, maybe other than Isaiah and Jordan Kilgannon, like everyone. I knew none of the dunkers. Even though Jordan was in the space, we didn't really talk about it that much because I wasn't interested in dunking until literally a couple months prior.
Yeah. Yeah, so you mentioned that 9 months backwards, you were still dealing with the knee stuff. So what was your training like leading up to dunk camp? And Jordan, you can definitely pitch in on this as
Jordan,
well.
if you want to
While
chime
you're
in.
trying to fix these knee problems while also being a sprinter and all that. How did all that come together?
Yeah, I had to get really creative with his training. I had to write cycles that were really weird for him to get healthy enough to start getting back to sprinting. Typically, when I'm rehabbing guys from jumper's knee, sprinting comes before jumping. And so we got him back to the point where he could sprint again. And then it was this weird cycle. I didn't love it. It was his goal, and most sprinters don't deal with jumpers knee necessarily. And so I'd write this weird cycle where we were continuing to progress him in intensity through his lifts and jumps while having higher sprint volume. And it was almost like a test run for him as a sprinter. He has the facility he mentioned that I used to work at as a private training facility out here near LA. And I actually stopped working there about a year ago now, and he got a job there. And so we had access to the equipment, including timing gates to time his sprints. And so we were really getting some good feedback to see, is he on par with the guys who are running at a D1 level? And at that time, it was really about, like I said, continuing to progress him so that he can get back to jumping, because in the back of my mind, I knew that's what he needed to be doing. But I was allowing him to sprint and sprint with some frequency so that he could continue to build that skill. And if he decided he wanted to walk on at a Division I university, he could. And so it was higher sprint volumes. It was initially it was only rehab. When you're really flared up like he was, you can't sprint at max intent. And so it was a rehab until he could sprint. Then he was sprinting with some higher frequencies, building up the intensity of that while we built up intensity of things like jumping and some of the weight room work. And like I said, it was just a period to gauge where he's at and see how talented he is as a sprinter.
And the problem also is, like a lot of athletes, I didn't really listen to him 100%. He would tell me something, oh no, you can't go play basketball. I'll go play basketball when I wasn't supposed to. Bang, I just set myself back literally a month plus. So at the start, it's like it would be progressing. I would do something stupid. I remember there's one time, it's like your knees can be so fragile in that state. I remember the one time it was like I was at the gym, I'm doing my rehab, and this kid that knows I started jumping buttons, like, yo, can you touch that light? I'm like, I think I can. You want to put $20 on it? So I'm like, oh, I have to now. So with no warm up, with nothing, I go and try to touch something. It's freaking 13 feet high. I wasn't even close. And then the next day, I was at work. There's a Vertec, and these people want to see me jump. So the next day, I do 6 max effort jumps, no warm up. And I remember I was progressing so good up until that point, and that was early on in the rehab, and my knees were getting so much better. I do those 2 things, and it's boom, I'm set back literally a month. So as an athlete, it's super hard to really hold yourself back and not do anything but the training that you're supposed to do. But I was messing up on that early on, and I learned lessons from that.
Yeah, obviously, I'm not going to know too much about sprint times, but feel free to throw some numbers at us for the people that are enthusiasts within that sport.
Yeah, I was doing really short sprints at the time because obviously my hamstrings, I was never into sprinting, so my hamstrings were at risk. But we did a 20-yard sprint. So was a fly 10, 20, so 10-yard buildup. It's 20 yards altogether. It's measuring your last 10 yards. And I got a 101, which is really solid acceleration. I know I was at ChatGPT, and they're saying that's more impressive than my 47.5-inch vert at the time.
He ran a 20-yard sprint. He timed the final 10 yards, so yards 10 to 20, and his average speed was over 20 miles an hour.
It's crazy, yeah. That's wild. Yeah, so I know you mentioned all the training leading up to it, but let's just say like a month out from dunk camp, how are you feeling health-wise and jump-wise?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember too much. I think my knees at that point, it was on the brink where I'm like, I think I'm ready. I'm not sure how my body's gonna respond to 30, 40 jumps because I hadn't been rehab for that long. So I might have been in my jump sessions. I don't remember exactly what I was doing. I don't know if you remember, Jordan, maybe like 8 jumps, maybe 6 jumps. I think probably 6 jumps. So I'm like, I'm probably gonna be fine at the start, but I have no clue what's gonna happen after 30 jumps. And I was having dunk sessions before that, and it's again like I couldn't hit an Eastbay or anything before that. It was like basic windmills was for sure my best dunk. I couldn't do any. I never tried a 360, never tried behind the back, never even thought of trying any of that stuff. So my dunk package was pretty much a windmill. That's what I would do at my dunk sessions. And yeah, my knees by that point were pretty rehabbed, but I knew my capacity probably wasn't gonna be good enough to handle 30, 40 jumps like I was gonna do that first day of dunk camp.
I essentially told him, we're going to get you right. We're going to taper you going into it so that you've reduced your training fatigue. And jump, I gave him a range. Definitely wasn't, I didn't want him hitting 40 jumps a day, but probably said 20 to 30. And I said, if your knees flare up, we'll handle it afterwards, but go have fun, obviously.
Yeah, that's the way I do it for sure. So yeah, let's just talk about your camp experience now. So day one, obviously, is like the big day where everyone typically overjumps and tests and has the big dunk session and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So just walk us through your entire day one?
Yeah, so like Jordan said, we tapered, which was definitely huge for me. I felt super, super fresh. Just on my own accord, I did a refeed. So for the few, I forgot if it was 2 or 3 days prior, I was absolutely destroying carbs. Like I was tracking it. I'm still pretty big on tracking calories. Like when I was in my bodybuilding stuff, even if I was trying to gain weight and I knew I was gonna get fatter, I track my calories pretty strictly. Like I weigh out all my stuff. So I was doing that before dunk camp. I was weighing it out. I was weighing my food. I was eating in a surplus just to get my glycogen stores up, and I was eating like 500 grams of carbs a day, like an insane amount, just to prime my body. So that first day, yeah, I have a normal breakfast, same breakfast every time before I dunk, some oatmeal, some eggs, and I have a banana or some carbs right before. And it was testing time. And I remember I was hoping it was gonna be like, I feed off adrenaline. If there's 50 people watching me, I just know I'm gonna jump 10 times higher than if there's no one watching me. So I remember going there, and every person has that one guy at the station that's watching them. Like, I'm hoping this is gonna be enough. Like just that one person. I don't know if that's enough adrenaline for me. So I was a little worried I wasn't gonna test good. So I start jumping. I start from, let's say, I don't remember, let's say 10 feet. I start going up incrementally. And it wasn't until I got to a 40 plus vert where people started crowding around. And because they're like, what the heck? Like, I remember the faces, like, what is going on? Because no one knew me at the time. I wasn't on social media. No one even knew Jordan had a brother that jumped at all. No one knew that. And probably when I got to, yeah, 40, 43 inch vert, people started watching. I tested, I don't remember what I tested before 47 and a half. I think I probably tested probably 46 and a half. And then by that time, there's a ton of people watching. Andy came over with his camera. He starts filming me. It was 47 and a half was, I think, 12-foot ones. Yeah, it was 12-foot ones. So we had to go get plates and put them under the vert trainer. And by that time, like Andy, it's on his Instagram, the vert trainer Instagram and dunk camp Instagram. But everyone was watching. Andy was filming, adrenaline out the roof. And yeah, I think I missed it. I think 47 and a half, I missed one or two times in there. And I was going to give up, but I forgot who it was. But someone was like, just try one more time. And I got it. And I was absolutely so amped. Maybe the most adrenaline I've ever had. And then I think I missed the 48 and a half. I just tried to go up by an inch. Yeah. So then after that, I went over and everyone was having the dunk session by then. And I went and did that first height check. No one even, because still a lot of people, there were some people watching, a lot of like those people that were helping with the vert trainer were watching, Andy was watching, but a lot of the athletes that were there still didn't see me test my vert. It was only a couple. And I go and do that first height check, and everyone's like, hold on. Like, I remember I have a video of that jump, which is super funny. You could hear like Isaiah Rivera go, he was like, I don't know if you curse on here, but yeah, he cursed. He's like, what just happened? And everyone was like freaking out. And then it was from there where I absolutely did way more jumps than I should have. I did probably 8 max jumps on the vert trainer and then 4 height checks, which the max jumps are so much harder on your knees. So I absolutely destroyed my knees that first day, because not only did I do 8, including the height checks, probably 12 max effort jumps. And then we went into the dunk session, which I did probably 20 to 30 jumps. And yeah, that first day was a super fun experience.
Yeah, that's crazy. I remember that first side check. It was wild.
Yeah.
Did you have something you were gonna say, Hunter?
Yeah, obviously I was recording that session and everything like
Yeah.
that with my camera, and
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear with the audio or anything like that. I don't remember if I had a reaction or not, but I was definitely like, what the heck just happened?
Yeah.
Came out of nowhere, just did a random height check, no
Yeah.
warm up. Obviously, like you warmed up before, but didn't know
Yeah.
that. And I was just like, what the heck? And then obviously started doing more of the session. And then to go along with that, obviously, like Isaiah was there and he was giving you lobs and everything like that.
Yeah.
Did he give you any advice for like dunk technique or jumping or anything like that? And like even any other campers, like how was that experience with people coming up to you and helping you out and whatnot?
Yeah, that's what showed me just how cool and tight knit dunk community, like everyone, because they knew I was new. Yeah, everyone was giving me advice. Isaiah was giving me advice, and they're all just talking to me. Yeah, Isaiah was helping me. I never hit an Eastbay. I wasn't even close. I have videos. I was never even close to hitting an Eastbay. He gave me some pointers. I forgot exactly what they were, some technique tips. And I remember I back rimmed, like I almost punched one like the first try after he told me some tips. And then on the other court, I went and hit an Eastbay a little bit later. I almost the first ever 360 Eastbay. I was super close. I was like super close to hitting, which was I just hit my first Eastbay. Then I went to 360 Eastbay and almost hit it. And it was like, yeah, Isaiah was helping me out with that. So yeah, they're all giving me tips. Not really with jump form. This is still a discussion. We could probably have this discussion here too, because we still always discuss my jump form because it's a pretty short penultimate step and it's a little different than a lot of people. But yeah, I wasn't really focused on the jump form, just really, yeah, they were helping me with tips and techniques for the dunks because I never tried any of that stuff before.
Nah, yeah, I remember one of your Eastbay attempts that literally you got like almost your entire arm in the rim. Like you could have Eastbay elbowed, I swear.
Yeah. Yeah.
On a flimsy like 9-9 rim, you probably could have Eastbay elbowed.
Yeah.
It was just ridiculous. But
Yeah.
no, yeah, I didn't realize it was your first Eastbay because it was the one you made was just so looked
It looked
easy.
like slow motion, almost like looking back, like it literally looked like slow motion, like just going between
Yeah.
my legs. But I guess I got enough height to just barely putting in.
No, I don't think anybody knew that was your first one besides maybe
Yeah.
a few people, but
Isaiah
that's
knew.
hilarious.
Isaiah
Yeah.
was height.
Yeah. What other new dunks did you get that day? I know there was at least one other one.
What did I get that day? For sure, my clean. First off, even going back to the height check, I mean, if you look at videos from when me and Jordan like just first started training, even like a couple months before dunk camp, if you look at my height checks, I was about my head was about a foot away from the rim. Like I made some Instagram videos on it. If you look at my windmills, my head was at the bottom of the net, barely over that. So it's even for me, that was I think it was obviously just adrenaline, tapering, refeed, everything combined with the training and cut for the past couple months prior. Like I peaked hard. Like the height check was ridiculous for me. That wasn't like a normal thing. It's not like I was doing that in the dunk sessions prior. Like that surprised me. Like I was insanely hyped. Other than the East Bay, oh, 360 windmill. I never even attempted a 360 windmill. I think I got that first try. I know I did that in the actual show first try, but 360 windmill I got for the first time there. East Bay I got for the first time there. My height checks were by far better. And I think that's it for there that I got. I think those are the only new dunks I got there.
So to go along with, obviously you hit a couple new dunks and whatnot, and obviously you saw a ton of people dunking on the first day. Did you get any like dunk ideas that you wanted to hit within the next couple of days or in the future or whatever? What were your goals for the next couple of days after you had your first day?
Oh yeah, so I don't even know. Like to me, I was so new. I had no clue. I feel like I still don't even know all the dunks, but it's like Jay Rich. I'm like, what the heck is he? Like, I don't know what he just did. The Scorpion. I'm like, what is happening? So I didn't know that any of the. I didn't even know people do those dunks. You watch the NBA, it's like that's not a thing. So I had no clue of any of those dunks that whole dunk week. I'm like super surprised. I know after hitting the East Bay, I went straight to the 360 East Bay, tried it. So that was a dunk that I really want to hit. I think that was the main thing. The 360 East Bay right after. I'm like, I gotta hit that. I only gave it a couple attempts because my knees were hurting, but I think that and just getting a cleaner like the East Bay was solid, but I knew I just want to punch like a hard East Bay. I knew that's what I was thinking after that.
Yeah, definitely. Jordan, I want to know what your reaction was first time hearing about the day.
What was your reaction when I texted you? Because I remember my adrenaline was flowing. I remember I texted Jordan right after because again we were going in expecting a 45 would be a great day, like a great day, 45 inches, and then I texted him that. So yeah, you could let him.
Yeah, I mean, it was ridiculous. He had tested he had that 44.5 inch vertical before even training. About 2 to 3 months in, he tested 45.
So probably so I think it was still in June, so it might have been that month I tested 45.
Yeah, and that was a PR, and he tied my personal record too. And so I had two reactions when I heard, first of all, that he tested 47.5. As his coach, I was hyped, obviously, super hyped. I saw the video. I was actually like one of the most speechless moments of my life because I thought there was like something wrong. Either the vert trainer wasn't measured properly or something was off. And then as his brother, I was hyped and I was also like, dang, I'm not the highest jumper in the family anymore. You know what I mean? And I'm never
Yeah.
getting that title back. I don't personally believe that's in the cards for me, hitting 48. And so I've conceded to the fact that he will hold that title now permanently. And I was obviously very hyped for him. And then it hit me after I saw his height check where, his best height checks before that, he could get the top of his head to the bottom of the rim. And that was impressive at 6'1". But he did that height check where his like nose was at the rim. And when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, he doesn't have a choice anymore. He's going to train full time like a pro athlete because 50-inch vert is in the cards for him, and I don't care if he wants to or not. It's happening. So it was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, super sick. Did you see the inside of the room on that jump?
Dude, on that jump, it definitely felt like it. It definitely felt like I was eye to eye. Now, definitely on some of these jumps that I'm doing recently, it really feels like you're looking down. But I remember that was like so crazy. I remember that one. I think that good height check that I think you filmed, Hunter. I think Isaiah was filming from like below, and there was so much adrenaline because everyone was watching, everyone was filming. That one, I'm like, it definitely surprised me because again, like Jordan said, like before dunk camp, I was top of my head maybe to the bottom of the rim. I have videos and it's not even comparable. And to see eye to eye with the rim, yeah, it was insane. It was insane to me.
Yeah, super crazy. I think I talked to you later that day one, and you were maybe mentioning that you were having some knee problems pop up. So what was kind of like your expectations for the rest of the week
Yeah.
after jumping a lot day one and hopefully hoping to compete on day four?
Yeah, so again, those max intent are so different than going for that trick dunk. The vert trainer jumps, and then the testing the vert, and then the height checks are so much harder. And I probably did 12 of those on top of 20 plus actual dunks, trick dunks. And so yeah, after I was on the phone with Jordan, we went back to the hotel, and it was hurting. It was hurting. I'm like, I know I want to compete in that dunk contest. I had no clue what I wanted to do because again, I still didn't have that dunk package. But I'm like, I want to compete, but I have no clue what in the world is gonna happen in those next. I had no clue what was gonna happen in those next couple days, Tuesday, Wednesday. I needed to see how my knees were gonna react, but it was definitely super, super flared up, like probably worse than I wanted. Definitely worse than we even imagined was gonna happen just because of the extent to how many jumps I did and how many max intent jumps I did. I remember, so then Thursday came up, woke up, he's still super bad. That's not that much recovery, 2 days. And I was jacuzzing, I was just chilling. I was making sure to not put any pressure, do nothing on them for those next 2 days, Tuesday, Wednesday. And Thursday came up. I did a test in the morning and it was super, it hurt to do any type of squat, like a slow squat, probably 8 out of 10 pain. And yeah, so I planned on still competing, trying to push through the pain. I think I took an Advil, took some caffeine. I was doing the warm up for the contest and I was doing wall sits as my ISOs. I think I couldn't even do single leg. I was doing double leg wall sits. I was that flared up, I couldn't even do single leg. Super high angle and it hurt so bad. And I'm like, I have no clue how I'm about to do a dunk contest. Like it hurt so bad just to do these double leg ISOs at a super high angle, like not even close to 90 degrees. But I did them. I did the full warm up that I usually do. And I remember after that first jump, my first attempt in the dunk contest was Isaiah just throwing me a windmill. And I absolutely flew, like again, felt like my eyes were at the rim, got it first try, like really clean windmill. And there was honestly no knee pain, like probably just adrenaline. Like obviously my knees were still super flared up, maybe the Advil a little bit, but probably just all the adrenaline. I felt no knee pain. And but something else did pop up. So it was after that first jump, I'm warming up, I'm staying loose because I have that second jump. You have to wait a while in between. And my left quad starts, never had any issues other than knee pain before. Never. No calf, no quad, no nothing, no hamstring, nothing. My left hamstring or my left quad started tightening up and giving me the most intense pain I've ever felt. So there it was. My knees were feeling good, but then my left quad was hurting so bad. So I know I was talking to just one of the trainers that was there. There was like a random trainer. I was talking to him, and I'm like someone told me, he's like, go talk to him. He's a trainer. So I just start talking to him. He's just stay loose, try not to freak out because I was on the verge of freaking out because it was like really bad pain. I couldn't put any pressure on it. So I just stayed loose. Second dunk, second attempt in that first round, first try, 360 windmill. I remember though, like it hurt my quad a lot to take off and land. Again, no knee pain though. Hit that first try, and then I made it into the second round, those finals. And there's a little break in between where they're setting everything up. We are going on that other court. And same thing, it's like my left quad was hurting so bad to where it's like I couldn't put any pressure on it. I remember I was just doing light jogging around, just trying to stay loose. But yeah, it was super bad to where I'm like, I don't know how in the world I'm about to jump. I think for that, yeah, for the first dunk in the finals, I think I went for 2 attempts of the actually no, I think I went for a 360 windmill because I realized they told me that it like resets, like you could do the same dunk. And again, I mean, my bag was so low, I knew nothing. I just hit the 360 windmill for the first time. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do that again. That's a safe bet. I hit it, I think first try. I might be wrong on that, but I got a really clean 360 windmill. And then it was that last dunk. It was the last dunk. I was going for a 360 Eastbay, which is crazy. I only attempted that once ever prior. And I was going for that in a dunk contest, the finals. Again, my quad, I'm like, am I about to tear? So every jump, I'm like, is my quad about to absolutely explode? Am I going to tear? It was that level of pain to where I don't know how I pushed through it. That was with the Advil. It was that level of pain. So it's scary how much pain I was in. But I tried, I think, 360 Eastbays, couldn't hit it. Was battling with that quad pain. And then I just did a normal windmill just to end it off first try. So at least I made a dunk. But yeah, after it's like I was limping. My knees were still fine, but my knees were fine, but I was limping because my quad pain's so bad. I don't even know how I made it through there.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's absolutely wild. I know a lot of people describe their highest jumps in different ways. So what would you say jumping like feels like for you on like your best jumps?
Dude, on those it feels super fluid. And that's what I mean, we could get into this discussion also about changing my jumping. Because again, I haven't been in the dunking scene. I haven't tried to fix my form, perfect my form, just because off the baseline, I was jumping super, super high. So we didn't want to really change anything. But on these jumps where I test that 47 and a half, the one word to describe it that makes most sense to me is just fluid. It just feels natural and it feels perfect. It feels like I'm a bunny and I'm a spring just on the ground, to where it's just like I pop up and I just float. And we measure that ground contact time on that 47.5-inch jump, and it was 0.23 seconds, which I didn't know what that meant, but everyone like Jordan and stuff were seeing like that's super, super fast because it feels super fluid and just like a spring. And that's just like my natural technique. And I still to this day, we discussed maybe trying to change it, but I never changed this same form. And it feels really fluid still.
I skipped one that I wanted to ask, but obviously dunk camp is a lot of dunking, a lot of jumping, but there's also a lot of educational stuff as well. So what were some of the big key takeaways that you had from the camp?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was so like adrenalined out and dopamine out that I was like, and my knees were hurting so bad that for some of those educational stuff, I was sitting in like those, what are they called? No, not the Theragun. What are those chairs?
Oh yeah, the rapid reboot things. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be honest, I was so like also just dopamined out to where it's like I'm watching all the videos and I'm like flipping out that I cannot sit down and focus. So I did skip over some of those educational stuff, but I know I did I was talking to Isaiah and Jordan, just asking them about just technique stuff. So I learned a lot from them on those couple days, and jump science was super, super helpful. And he gave me a lot of knowledge. And after I was DMing with him, and he was super good and super helpful, just talking about technique and stuff then. But yeah, I did skip over, and I was in those chairs just trying to rehab and stuff for those couple days of education, just because I wanted my knees, I wanted to be in the best shape for that contest. And I was just getting to know people. I knew no one there, so it's like I would talk to the guys in the chairs, and I was just talking to people a lot of the time because I didn't really know anyone at that point.
Yeah, Jordan, I know you train quite a few guys and every athlete is different. But what do you think is kind of like the big thing that's different when it comes to training Ethan and just what makes him so unique as an athlete?
Yeah, you rarely get to train a guy who has such a high ceiling. So it's always fun. We haven't even tapped into the fun stuff yet because after dunk camp, we had some events, sessions with Dunkademics and whatnot. And we've had so much maintenance work and trying to offload fatigue before these events and big sessions that he's only scratching the surface right now. He's doing the most basic strength work, just starting to get him into some more complex mesocycles. And I think we're both really excited to see where that'll go and what that'll do for his vertical jump if he's testing 48 inches off of the most elementary training that you can imagine. But one thing we've noticed about him, especially as he's getting stronger, is he is so wired, his nervous system is so wired that he has to stay away from pushing lifts anywhere near failure because it drains him. If you give him a back squat, for example, and have him push anywhere near failure, by set 2 or 3, he's done. He can't do it anymore. And so we're having to experiment with some different approaches to that and training with some reps in reserve and whatnot. We're finally moving away from that strength work because one fun fact about him, and he'll talk about this all the time, and he his numbers in the weight room, if you look at his raw back squat and deadlift RDL, he's relatively weak if you just looked at the weights that he's lifting, especially compared to his body weight. Now, I always tell him if we got him on some force plates, I'm very confident that would indicate otherwise. But in terms of just the raw outputs you look at, given the numbers that he's lifting, he's relatively weak, so we've been pushing some more max strength for a while. We're just starting to get away from that now, and it'll be fun. I know his goal by the end of not this mesocycle, but the following one, so 2 to 2.5 months from now, is he wants to test 50 as we get into some more complex systems. But we'll see. We'll see if that happens, but we're gonna try.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
diving deeper in my strength numbers, it's like I'm 190, maybe a little more, 190 pounds. And this is with getting them up, like the baseline was lower. It's like I'm still only doing 245 pounds for five. And it's you look at guys that are 150 pounds, they're pushing 300 for five. So it's like my strength numbers are I wouldn't say, I don't know if you say super, super weak, but really not great. My RDL, I don't even know how Jordan lifts what he does on his RDL. That would feel like a house to me. I can't even fathom that. So I think like you said, it's just I'm super nervous system wired to where it's definitely still super beneficial, the strength stuff, but I'm super excited. We've never done proper plyometrics. We've never done any proper plyometrics really. And I'm super excited for that cycle that he's going to put me on. I think that could benefit me the most out of anything. I don't know if he would agree with that, but
Yeah, and like I was saying, he's squatting like whatever mid 200s for five at his body weight is honestly pretty bad given his outputs. If we put him on force plates and got him set up in like a isometric mid thigh pull and had him pull an immovable object, his numbers would be very high and a lot higher than that 245-pound squat would indicate. But the raw outputs and numbers in the weight room, like he said, they're going up. Initially, they were insanely low. It was a joke. And so watching those rise has been fun, but he's always more concerned about how weak he is than I am, and I'm always trying to talk him out of it. But if we got him on some force plates, those numbers would definitely be higher than what his squat may show. You can't jump 48 inches without those outputs.
Yeah, 100%. So to go along with, obviously, Jordan, you said that his nervous system is so wired that he can't do a lot of max effort stuff. So has he done any type of like max intent where it's like where he's going for a max squat or anything like that? Or is it literally just 5 reps at a time? Or like that's how you're recording how big his numbers are in the weight room?
Yeah, with him, especially given that his skill when it comes to lifts like a back squat is relatively low and he's relatively inexperienced, especially moving higher weight. I'm not comfortable with him pushing for a 1 rep max. We can do some math given his 5 rep max to determine roughly what his 1 RM would be. He also has a heart condition.
that's what I was about to say.
Yeah, he's got a heart condition that we try to refrain from pushing too hard and having him do what's called the Valsalva maneuver and really brace his core and push against like a closed mouth. And it creates a lot of intra-abdominal pressure, which is great. But with what he deals with his heart, we try to stay away from that for the most part. And so I don't plan on having him do 1 rep max testing because of those factors. But right now, the main deterrent has simply been he's lacking the skill. And if a guy hasn't developed that skill, I don't want them going out there and trying to move as much weight as they can.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that's super interesting. It sounds very similar to Donovan in some ways. Obviously, not the heart condition part, but I know Donovan was very similar. I feel like I remember John mentioning at some point that if he pushes really hard in the weight room, like his vertical goes just to crab like really fast. Is that kind of what you're describing?
Yeah, I wouldn't say his vertical goes down the drain as much as he will not be able to finish his session. So if he
Mm,
typically the progression, especially in the cycles that he's been on, is he'll do his warm up, and just lately we're getting into some more traditional power work, typically in the form of loaded jumps, because he still needs to learn some Olympic lifting technique. And the next thing is back squatting. And if he pushes too hard on those back squats, he'll tell me that he can't finish the rest of the session and the quality will go down the drain because he's just completely destroyed. And so I've given him the advice to back off, keep some reps in reserve. You can still get quality reps with that heavy weight, but you don't necessarily need to push to absolute failure because though the accessories aren't the meat and potatoes of a lift, we want him to have juice to go hit those accessory lifts. And so that's been the adjustment that we've made.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, so as for, I know you mentioned that you hadn't had a dunking account specifically, or on social media, you hadn't had a dunking account. Did you do bodybuilding content and stuff like that before? Because I did, or I noticed at camp the other 4,000 followers, like zero
Yeah,
posts.
so
Have you
on
done anything in the
TikTok,
past?
and it wasn't from bodybuilding. I posted a little fitness stuff, but that wasn't the main thing. On TikTok and Instagram, I like from those random niches grew both accounts to yeah, like around 5,000 followers, 4,000, 5,000 followers. So what I did is I just transitioned both those into full-time dunking accounts. So TikTok and Instagram. Because I'm like, I feel like I'd rather that. I still to this day don't know if that was a smart move because I'm hoping it didn't like mess up my accounts, but it's seeming like it didn't. But yeah, I just transitioned both my TikTok and Instagram to just my full-time dunking account.
Was that a hard decision for you, or did you just kind of send it?
What, the transitioning?
Yeah.
No, the stuff that I was posting, I didn't care at all. No, it wasn't like it happened to grow to 5,000, 6,000. It wasn't like a passion of mine. So I'm like, no, it was an easy decision. I'm like, for sure, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so I know you, Jordan, mentioned the dunkademic sessions and stuff like that. So after dunk camp, what has been like the training and dunking been like for you? I know I've seen you hit a lot of new dunks, especially your Eastbays, windmills, stuff like that, have just looked a lot better in general. So just walk us through what it's been like since camp
You talking about for me or Jordan?
for you. Yeah.
Oh, so we've been doing, I've had a couple Dunkademic sessions, another YouTuber's video I was in. So that's put a halt on the training a little bit because for each one of those you want to deload. So it's like I haven't gotten proper training in some of those scenarios. But I've progressed, I feel like dunk wise. It's like my windmills, like even the ones at dunk camp that I would hit, it's like I would jump to the side, like I wouldn't be jumping straight vertical, I'd be jumping horizontally a little bit, and it didn't feel smooth. Now from just all the dunkademic sessions and all the other sessions I've had, yeah, I feel like my dunks in this fluidity have progressed so much. Like windmills, I feel like I've just mastered so many different techniques of windmills. Eastbay, I get first try pretty much every time now, but I still have so much. I really haven't I went through a little phase where I was doing hand speed stuff, but I stopped with that, and now I just finally got a low basketball hoop that I still need to build, but I'm gonna try to do that every single day to where I'm just doing standing stuff to where it goes like below my reach, so I can just do standing tricks. I still have so much where it's like I've only tried behind the back probably 8 times, and I've gotten stuffed on 4 of them, so I still haven't hit it behind the back, so I haven't even attempted 360 behind the back or anything. First ever under both attempts, I was super close, which surprised me. I was super excited about that because it's like I didn't even think I was gonna be close to that. I think I made a post on that one, but the first under both, I got super close to. Still haven't hit 360 East Bay. Only tried a handful of times. Really, I've been mastering these last sessions. I've just been mastering the things that I'm good at. Like I've been doing height checks. I've gotten really good at the East Bay now, to where I can hit that pretty much every time. Windmills, I feel super fluid, but I still have so many dunks that I haven't tried and so many that I need to get down, like under both 360 behind the back, 360 East Bay. But overall, I just feel so much more coordinated in the air just from all this time that I've spent training.
Yeah, 100%. So to go along with obviously after dunk camp and being at dunk camp, like obviously you've learned a ton and you've done a ton of work and stuff like that inside and outside the weight room. Have you like done a deep dive into the actual dunk community, watching other dunkers, watching old dunkademic videos, watching the pros, watching contests? Like, what's that kind of stuff for you? Like actually getting more well known with how the dunk community's been working and people, how like other dunks and how many dunks have been created and stuff like that. Like, how has that journey been for you?
Yeah, for sure. I've went to all the old Dunkademic sessions with all the pros like Isaiah and everything, watched those. I'm obviously scrolling on Instagram, so I see all these other really crazy dunkers and what they do. So yeah, it's inspired me. I want to not only create new dunks, but it's made me want to learn so many dunks I didn't know existed, like the J Rich or like the Scorpion. I had no clue those were things. Also, even talking about the double up, it's like I didn't really see that before. Again, I just watched the NBA. It's obviously no one's doing that type of stuff. They're doing normal dunks. So it's like I attempted that. There was one time I attempted that with Jordan standing there, but I didn't get it. I
Yeah, he's too short
I
for you
think he
to
was
do it.
actually too sore. I
Maybe
think so.
what it
Next time
is.
we haven't been able to really dunk together, and I'm usually dunking by myself. So it's like I'm not gonna ask a random person to come stand under me. So I need to do double ups and those types of stuff. But I definitely want to get that soon with Jordan, probably just holding it up.
Yeah, he
Maybe
can hold it way
oh
up
no,
there. Yeah.
maybe stand on a chair or something. But yeah, I've definitely looked into all the other dunkers. And first off, just technique, like the people that jump similar to me, like Isaiah, or who are left. It's like even you, Dylan, you jump left. It's like I've examined how they do it and where they start from on certain dunks and that type of stuff. But yeah.
Goodness. Yeah, bro. Super cool. I know. Did you try your behind the? Have you been trying your behind the backs off lob or after?
Behind the back, I've done both. Off lob, it's like I'm like there. If I actually
Yeah.
put a session to where I try 4 times, even 4, like, because I usually just try 1 or 2 times because I'm still pretty low jumps. Like, none of my sessions is above 10 jumps, so it's like I really have to pick and choose to where it's like, yeah, I'll give it 1 or 2 attempts. It's like one of my last sessions. My last session was actually playing basketball, but the session before that, I tried it, I think, once or twice, and I literally like back rimmed it. So I still haven't hit it though. So I'll get that any second. But I throw those off lob. I think that feels pretty smooth to me.
Yeah, that's some crazy self-control. I don't know if I've ever had a 10 jump session, but
It's super hard. And sometimes I'll go over talking about the self-control. It's like I did something stupid even last week to where it's like I said I learned my lesson, but I guess clearly I didn't. I knew it was gonna be super good for content. I've been doing just normal dunk sessions where it's like 8 to 10 jumps because I'm still building up the capacity. I'm still pretty new to this. And I asked Jordan, I'm like, can I just play basketball? Because I had some boys that were going to an LA Fitness, and he agreed. He said you just got to be careful. You can't over jump. So I wasn't planning on going for any crazy rebounds, just certain dunks. And I definitely overjumped. I definitely overjumped, and my knees flared up a little bit. So then this next week, this past Saturday, I the gym that I usually dunk at, or I was gonna go to this LA Fitness, but they're renovating it. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to a far LA Fitness that I don't know. And I was planning on having a normal dunk session. It was absolutely packed. So of course I'm not gonna leave. I'm gonna play basketball. And again, with my knees probably already a little bit flared, I did probably 20 max jumps, and then also I was playing in games, so getting little jumps, little rebounds. So then I messed up my knees a little bit. So my knees are a little more messed up than they've been right now than since I've started focusing on this dunking stuff. I've been pretty stupid, but that's on me, so I'll get them back pretty quick.
nah, yeah, that's super funny. But yeah, for the behind the back, I do feel like you could probably just do that off a drop step, off dribble. You don't even
Off a
need to
drop
go loud.
step, I've been wanting to
So
Eastbay off
easy.
the drop step. Eastbay off the
You
drop
could do
step.
that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, yeah,
that's always
because
with me.
behind the back off dribble is such an easy dunk.
Off dribble.
Yeah, off dribble is like super easy.
Oh,
I
really?
just don't jump high at all off dribble, but I can still do it on 9, 10 and a half pretty easily. But yeah, I think that would be super easy one for you to get. And then yeah, under both. I think I told you this I can't, but just watch Isaiah. You've got the same touch as him.
Exactly,
You
yeah.
do literally anything, which is ridiculous to
Yeah.
think about. But yeah, just keep knocking stuff off, bro.
No, I'm excited, especially if I really focus on that low rim hand speed. Like I'm hoping like really fast. Like get that behind the back, and then I'm hoping next 2 weeks I'll get the 360 behind the back. Or I get that under both, then I'm hoping quickly get the 360 under both and just level up pretty quick.
Yeah,
And
I couldn't
I
agree. It'd be
have
cool.
like I mean, before me and Jordan started doing this dunking stuff, it's like even with, let's say, if when it probably, yeah, like 44-inch vert, I still couldn't windmill. I couldn't windmill on a LA Fitness hoop. There's videos of me. I could not windmill with a 44-inch vert. So it's like my hand speed, like I never did any of that stuff prior to this dunking. My hand speed was super slow. So it's definitely already on, especially on the stuff I've worked on, like Eastbay, like windmills, like I've just increased a lot. And yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes next year and even more to come.
I just realized, have you even done like a reverse pump or reverse windmill or something like that?
No, I've never gone
Yes.
to any type. I've never done any reverse dunk. I've never done any
That's so
reverse.
funny, man. You could definitely do like a Eastbay 2-hand reverse, but
Yeah,
no.
I've never even thought about, because like right now it's like, even it's funny because yeah, I have a 48-inch where I can touch over 12 feet, but it's like I'm still learning the basics. I don't think I've ever really done a normal 360 dunk. Like I skipped that and went to trying the 360 Eastbay. It's like I've never even,
Fair.
it's all so foreign to me still, but I'm getting there slowly.
Nah, yeah, bro. It's super fun to watch. I think it's a great segue into some goals, whether it be dunking, lifting, whether you want to do contests, events,
Yeah.
social media, just anything, bro.
Yeah, first off, social media. I've really recently, just in the past week, like really tried to be like, okay, I'm gonna dial in on social media, create just not just like a one clip dunk, but like actually try to get good content out there. So I have a lot of drafts waiting. So my goal on social media, that's one of my biggest goals, is grow on social media a lot. And then I'm not really too concerned with their weight room, because we'll see however that translates to jumping, but I'm not like, oh, I'm trying to hit a 315 squat. I really don't care about that. I just care about my vert. Like Jordan said, I'm hoping. So what we didn't really talk about this, but I went from 45 to the 48-inch vert in, I think, 4 months. So that leaves me another 8 months to get to 50, and that'd be 45 to 50 inches in a year. So in the next 8 months, I'm hoping to get 50. Last time I tested 48 was at a Dunkademic session. Jordan was testing his vert too, and I tested like a 46 with ease. And I'm like, I wasn't planning on testing that day, But I was still warming up, just do normal dunk session with Dunkademics, and Jordan was warming up on the vert trainer. And I'm like, okay, I'll just go with the warm up just as my jumps. I'll just do it on the vert trainer. And I tested a 46 with ease. And I'm like, okay, I need to test my vert. But I wasn't planning on testing that day. So Jordan did all of his jumps, and it left me like sitting there for 15, 20 minutes, just absolutely cooled the heck down. And then I ended up testing the 48-inch for that day. But I feel like even that day, I think I could have tested 49 if I was just warm, because I sat there cool for 20 minutes and I felt terrible. And then I tested that 48. So I'm hoping, like, I'm not going to do it. We have a Dunkademic session coming up in a month. I'm just going to do normal dunks there. But I'm hoping maybe one of these deloads after a cycle that, yeah, after a deload, I'm hoping like maybe even before 8 months that I could test that 50. And then dunk wise, I have so many that I want to hit. Like, I've never hit a double up, so I need to get that. 360 Eastbay is a huge one that I think is really cool that I want to hit. And then same with under both. I'd say right now 360 Eastbay and then under both are two dunks. I'm like, I really want to hit that. That'd be super cool.
Oh, yeah, that's great, bro. I feel so stupid because I was going to LA, but I knew it for 2 weeks, and then you guys did that LA or the Dunkademic session with Billy. I don't know what it was, maybe 4 days before or something like
No
that.
way.
And I was like, dang it, like I probably should have. I just did a horrible job of reaching out to people. So
Yeah.
obviously, I don't know if you guys would have been able to delay or something like, because that's
Mhm.
obviously not ideal training wise, but I should have at least attempted to see if we could have done something, because that would have been super cool to have
Yeah.
you in a group session like that.
You
Yeah.
gotta get back out here, bro.
Yeah, I will eventually. I just gotta right time. So no, yeah. Were you in the same gym as I was when I was there?
Yeah. That LA Fitness.
Yeah. I tried to go to the super legendary 99 rim, but the dude at the front desk was tweaking, bro. He was like, your dad has to be, he was like, your parents have to be here. And I'm like, bro, my parents are across the country. Come on now. It's like since when can a 17-year-old not get a day pass at a gym, bro? I don't know. It was ridiculous,
Got the
but
wrong
that dude
person.
he was not budging, bro. It's actually insane. But no, yeah. That's super cool. What about events, contests, stuff like that? Is it a goal to be a pro dunker, or are you just kind of aiming for
Right now, for
50?
sure, right now it's like social media, social media. In the future, I think once I start getting those dunks down, those between the leg, those double ups and the 360 between legs, 360 under both. When I start getting to that level, then I'll be like, yeah, then I want to do contests. Like right now, to be fairly honest, I don't think if I got invited to a contest, I wouldn't feel that comfortable, because like I'm still so new, and it's like I'm not that comfortable in the dunking scene yet to where it's, oh, I'm gonna be able to hit this first try or this first try, because I just don't have that many reps in. But in the future, once I start getting more advanced, for sure, like the contest would be super cool.
Even
Yeah.
with that though, your first contest was at dunk camp and you made it to the final
I
four.
got
So I mean,
second.
like,
I got
so I
second,
mean,
and that
like,
was crazy.
being comfortable or not being comfortable, you still performed at a high level with high level
Yeah.
dunkers. So and you obviously have the vert for it. It's just your
Yeah.
technique on dunks is what is holding you back technically, but even then you're still performing at a very high level. So
No, yeah. No, in the future, for sure, it's gonna be super cool, especially just getting comfortable. I know the jumping over people in contests is so huge. So I'm getting comfortable with that. Because right now, like last time I attempted jumping over Jordan, it was so uncomfortable. Even though I'm clearing him by feet, it's like it feels so weird. It feels so weird to me. So I need to get more reps of that for sure.
Definitely. You should try some like non-double ups, just windmill over him, just straight up. The stuff's it
That would be
looks,
scary.
it's super like unnatural, but if you get it down, I think they
Yeah.
look way cooler. Obviously, I spam double ups, so I'm a hypocrite when it comes to this, but obviously double ups are not like the coolest thing in my opinion, but you
Yeah.
gotta do what you gotta do to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, well, that's great. Again, it's been crazy to see you since I literally probably saw you for the first time maybe 4 months ago or whatever it was. So yeah, it's been just super cool to see you go from, I guess I saw you for the first time when you were at basically 48, but it's
Yeah.
just great. And knowing that, again, as Jordan has said many times, like your ceiling is so high. So again, guys, if you are not already, make sure you go follow this guy. I think you changed your Instagram,
Yeah.
so let the people
On
know what all the things are.
Yeah, on everything right now, it's just at Ethan Pimstone 1. I used to be Pine Dunks, but I'm like, I'm just making my name. It's just easier. It's more simple. So yeah, Ethan Pimstone 1 on Instagram.
Very good for personal branding. Make your
Yeah.
name your username. So many people have felt that, but
Exactly.
anyway, love it. So again, thank you, Ethan, for hopping on. Thank you, Jordan, so much for hopping on. I think this was great to have both you guys. I don't even remember whose idea this was. It might have been Ethan's, but I think it was super beneficial to get your lens on everything. So again, thank you guys. both of you.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And yeah, it's been a while, but again, thank you guys for tuning into this episode. Again, make sure to go follow both these guys. Jordan, you're JP Dunks, correct?
JP.dunks, yeah.
Yes, sir. Everything will be in the description anyways. But again, thank you guys for watching. If you're new, make sure to subscribe, leave a rating if you're on Spotify, whatever it may be. Support in some way. And yeah, see you guys in episode 65. So.